The month of September could surprise us all, because we have some very interesting and very important astrological constellations. Some of them will have an effect until December. And because of a special constellation which starts in September, we might be seeing unexpected events of great importance. But more about this in a moment. First, I want to welcome you on my YouTube channel. And if you would like to receive a weekly update about the current important astrological and energetic constellations, please feel free to sign up for my newsletter, where you get all those informations every week. And you find the link right here under the video. And I also have written a book, an introduction to Vedic astrology, where you can learn a lot to understand the planets and the charts, and to learn to read a horoscope. And you can order this book through Amazon. I think it's Amazon Germany, but you can order it in US or in my online shop. What awaits us in September? The biggest surprise we will see will be towards the end of September, but more about that in a moment. The month begins with the aftermath of the super full moon, which takes place on the last day in August, in the sign of Aquarius on 13 degrees. And this is an absolutely intense full moon. It takes place in the nakshatra Shatabhishak. And I speak of Vedic astrology. This is a totally other system than the most known Western astrology system here. And this full moon takes place in the lunar mansion Shatabhishak, which is connected to the upper lunar node Rahu. And this is often accompanied with intense energies, where we can fall easily into illusion and experience deceptions. And this is not easy. And this full moon is also connected with the topic of addictions. Shatabhishak is the lunar mansion, the nakshatra, that is also connected mostly to alcohol addictions. When we look for ways out of the matrix, because we cannot find a solution or a release for our pain. But on the other hand, this full moon can also bring a lot of healing, because Shatabhishak is also the lunar mansion which is called the 100 healers. And this full moon will bring a lot of help for healing. And it is also under the influence of the lunar nodes and the planet Mars. And Mars has a 6-8 aspect to this full moon. And the 6-8 aspects are always associated with difficulties. And Mars is a trigger that can trigger events or unexpected changes. And Mars is 8 houses away from this full moon. And therefore, this also represents the 8th house, where it is all about our financial system and the money institutions. And we will see what it will trigger this full moon. But it can bring discoveries, and also more disclosures, and secrets can come into light. So the month of September already begins not so easy, but it will be a very exciting month, but more in a moment. Then we have Mercury Retrograde since August the 23rd until September the 16th. And Mercury is a planet where it is all about communication, connection, the internet, travel, contracts, agreements, and trade. And all those topics will not be so easily when Mercury is retrograde. And often this is connected with a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions and breakdowns. And Mercury is in the sign of Leo. This is the natural 5th house of the zodiac, and there it is about the media, the entertainment industry, and it is also the axis of politics. And this axis is Aquarius and Leo. And now we have Saturn, the planet Saturn, in the sign of Aquarius, in its own sign. And the Sun is in September in its own sign in Leo. And this opposition is not easy. And then we have Mercury retrograde also in the sign of Leo. And Mercury and the Sun will also come closer. They are exactly on September the 6th together. And this is all about leadership and the politics and leading positions. It's a very strong connection. And we will see what it brings out. Maybe we can experience some false or some fake news. And more about this in a moment. And there is something other of great importance, and this is connected to the planet Venus and Jupiter, because both will change their direction on September the 4th. And Venus was retrograde since, I think, the end of July. And with Venus it is all about love and our relationships. And on the same day, on September the 4th, the planet Jupiter becomes retrograde. And when those two planets change direction at the same time, and they stand still when they change their direction, and this makes them 10 times as strong in their energetic effect than normally. This is of great importance. And the planet Jupiter is connected with the topic of expansion. It is like the big guru, the guru of the planets, who brings wisdom and prosperity. And when he goes retrograde at 21 degrees in the sign of Aries. And so be sure to check if you have a planet in your horoscope between 19 and 22 degrees in the sign of Aries in this month, then you are one of the lucky ones, because those degrees speak of prosperity and a lot of positive opportunities that can show up in your life. Also, if you have those degrees, 19 to 22 degrees in the sign of Cancer or Libra or Capricorn. And you have to look up in a Vedic horoscope. You cannot use the normally Western horoscope. And if you want to have a Vedic horoscope, you can order it in our online shop. And you get it with a small ebook about Vedic astrology. And Venus changes its direction on September the 4th on 18 degrees in the sign of Cancer. And exactly there sits a fixed star, which is very strongly connected with the energy of Venus, and it will be activated. And its name is Kochab. Kochab. This fixed star stands very strongly in connection with the topic of money and prosperity, which also means our monetary system and the stock market and the economic system, which will be in September a very important topic. But not only for this reason, but the surprise is yet to come. And the new moon takes place on September the 15th at 3:38 o'clock German time zone. in the sign of Leo, in conjunction with the planet Uranus in the sign of Aries, and also aspected by the planet Jupiter. And this also is about a change in leadership, but more about this in a moment. Fateful things often happen for humanity when the nodes change in other zodiac signs. And those nodes, they are in September at 0 degrees for 3 months until the end of November. Then they change from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. And the nodes, they stand still for about 3 months. And this is the time when also the next solar eclipse will happen. And this is really the beginning of the zodiac cycle in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees. And that is for all of us in the next months a very important energy. And those 0 degrees is also, and I speak about this also in other videos, called Gandanta. It is a very special degree. And this is also connected to difficult fixed stars that are positioned behind the zodiac signs. And it is in the transition of a water sign to a fire sign. And this can bring up the feeling of loss of control and literally of drowning. And the lunar nodes represent our consciousness because they are the shadow points. And this is the connection between the sun and the moon. And the lunar node stands for the destiny of mankind. And since they are in the sign of Aries and Libra, which has the theme of war and peace, we have seen this war that happened in the Ukraine, and this starts by changing those nodes. And they show also for you in your personal horoscope more about your destiny. And if you want to know more about this, feel free to watch also a recording of my last workshop. And you can register for this workshop. You find the link below the video in the info box. And where the lunar nodes are, there the eclipses take place. And the next solar eclipse in October will take place exactly at this 0 degree mark. And this stands for a great new beginning. And it is that we come back to the 0 degrees of the zodiac every 18.5 years. But what about this big surprise in the month of September? We have around September the 25th a very special constellation. The planet Saturn is at 7 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. And there sits in the chart of the horoscope of the USA exactly the moon at 7 degrees in the sign of Aquarius. And the sun, which will be in the transit at this day exactly at 7 degrees in the sign of Virgo, this intensifies those special constellations. And the planet Mars is in transit at this day at 24 degrees in the sign of Virgo, exactly above the planet Saturn in the horoscope of the USA, which is also on 24 degrees. And this combination is very unusual and speaks of a great and perhaps unexpected event that could happen in the USA. And at the same time, in the horoscope of Vladimir Putin, is also a very special constellation, because he has also on 24 degrees in the sign of Virgo a very important planet. It is the planet Saturn, which also speaks about your reputation. And Saturn sits in his 12th house. And there is another important thing with Putin in addition. And this is namely that the lunar node axis changes in the sign of Virgo, and especially the lower lunar node Ketu, which is also connected often to losses, will slowly approach to his Mercury at 29 degrees in the sign of Virgo. And Mercury is the planet with the highest degree in his horoscope, and so this planet is of very special importance for him. And at 29 degrees in the sign of Virgo, there is also a connection to the fixed star Spica. So this is a very powerful energy. And when Ketu connects to his Mercury in the 12th house, this could bring enormous changes in his position. And it seems as if something more dynamic want to come into the current world politic situation, which could surprise us all. But very important also is these are possibilities. The energy speaks of the possibility of those changes. But how things will play out, how exactly, that cannot be predicted. It cannot predict it 100%. Those are possibilities that shows up. The stars speak of significant upheavals socially, politically, and how we will experience this, we will see. And maybe if it could lead to an end of the war, maybe it is one possibility. Let's hope. Maybe there are, with those current energies, hope for a great new beginning, not only in your life and my life, in all of our lives. And please share this video also with other like-minded people. And if you are interested in Vedic astrology and to learn more, to understand what the stars tell us and make your own predictions, then feel free to sign up for my online course, and you can check it out all below this video. And I love you. Namaste.